My trouble started when I found a plastic HOA trail sign hammered into my horse field right beside a big pile of horse poop. One minute I'm fixing a squeaky gate hinge, the next minute I'm being blamed for blocking a community walkway that wasn't even there yesterday. Then the HOA president came running in yelling that my gate looked mean and was making house prices go down. I thought she was kidding. She wasn't. In just a few days they called me a danger to everyone, stuck orange flags like they were taking over my land, and sent a nervous guy with a measuring tape who jumped every time my horse made noise all over a gate. Just a gate. If you've ever had your land turned into a pretend park by crazy people with clipboards, you'll want to hear how this got even weirder. My name's Jake Larson, and my 12-acre farm sits like a big thorn in the middle of what used to be a quiet Texas neighborhood, now covered with huge, fancy houses growing like weeds. My old fences and grass fields don't match with their perfect lawns, cut like they used rulers. My horse, a brown mare named Daisy, doesn't care about looking pretty or HOA rules. She wants her food and room to walk around, something that really bugs Cynthia Reed, the HOA president, with a bunch of yappy dogs and a need to control everything. The gate we're fighting about, it's been here 15 years here, before Cynthia moved in with her expensive purses and suburb dreams. Its sign says, "Good neighbors only." A funny joke that turned out to be true. Jake Larson, tear down that gate right now. Cynthia's voice cut through the morning quiet like a chainsaw. She walked up wearing a jacket that cost more than my truck, paired with high heels sinking into the dirt. Her red hair bounced. With each angry step, her perfect nails holding papers like they were the Bible. "That gate messes up our neighborhood's peace," she said, as if my fence post was like starting a war. I leaned against the gate, wiping oil off my hands, while Daisy ate grass nearby, not caring. "Morning, Cynthia," I said slowly, just to annoy her. "Nice day for staying out of other people's business." I pulled out my land map covered in plastic and stamped by the county. "This line here, that's where my land starts and your rules end. Gate's on my side." Her face went from pink to dark red, a color that meant anger or too much coffee. "Your map doesn't matter," she spit out. "The HOA board says gates hurt neighborhood flow and house prices. You're fined $500 starting right now." She waved a ticket like a magic wand, her hands shaking with anger. By lunchtime, my email was full of HOA messages, each one crazier. Then the last, Cynthia called me dangerous, and a rule breaker, using fancy lawyer words that sounded like a bad TV court show. Paul Carter, her jumpy helper and old city worker, showed up with a camera taking pictures of my gate like it was a crime scene. He jumped every time Daisy moved her tail, acting like she'd stomp on him for being on my land. I fought back with a new sign: "HOA map sold separately, big enough to be seen from the road, mean sure needed, absolutely." By evening, Cynthia's group had made things worse, sticking orange flags across my horse field saying it was a public trail. Plastic signs said my land was HOA property. The nerve was unbelievable. They were stealing my farm with dollar store supplies. The next morning, my good neighbors only sign was ruined. Red paint spelling HOA rules and dripping letters. This wasn't about looks anymore. It was war. As an old army surveyor who mapped fighting areas overseas, I'd dealt with land fights before, but none with this much suburb meanness. Running my fingers over the broken sign, I felt anger rise. Daisy pushed me, sensing my mood, and I told her Cynthia picked the wrong farmer to mess with. 3 days later, she made things worse, hiring a surveyor named Randy who showed up in a rattling truck with tools from an old garage sale. He spent 15 minutes walking around my land before saying my gate was 10 feet into HOA land. Cynthia stood nearby, nodding like a proud mom. The trick was obvious. Randy was her puppet, probably, paid in cash for his fake report. That evening, the HOA held a special meeting in the community center, a boring brick building. Cynthia said everyone must wear jackets, as if nice clothes made her crazy talk sound real. I showed up in jeans and boots, knowing it would make her mad. The room had 30 people, most looking miserable in their required jackets. Cynthia stood at the front, her poster board covered with pictures of my gate taken to look scary. "This barrier puts our children in danger and makes our houses worth less," she said, pointing at Randy's survey. I stood up, unfolding my map. "My gate's on my land, proven by GPS and county records. Your surveyor needs a new job." Laughter went through the crowd. Tara Morgan, a neighbor, joked, Cynthia would ban rain if it wasn't HOA approved. The room laughed and Cynthia's jaw got tight. Paul jumped up, voice squeaking, That gate scares kids! The claim was so silly, some people groaned. The meeting split the room. Cynthia's followers versus those tired of her being a bully. Next morning, I found more flags in my horse field claiming half my grassland. Cynthia's team had worked all night sticking their conquest like suburb soldiers. Daisy stayed away from the orange spikes, her animal sense knowing trouble. I put up wire along my real landline, adding a sign, HOA measure twice, cry once. Tara stopped by filming for her blog. Cynthia's surveyor couldn't find north with a compass. She joked, I hired Laura Bennett, a surveyor with 20 years. Experience to prove Randy's lies. That night, my motion lights came on at 2:37 a.m. My security camera caught Paul sneaking across my land wire cutters in hand, dressed in black like a cheap burglar. He tripped over my HOA trespassers beware sign, cutters flying. The lights hit him and his face, pure fear, was crystal clear. He cut my gate's lock, not knowing about my second camera and Daisy's oak tree. At sunrise, I cornered Paul at his mailbox, coffee in hand. Video ready. Nice night for a crime. Paul, I said. His hands shook, nails chewed down. I was home watching TV, he stuttered, dropping his mail. Cynthia swooped in, jacket shining. You're bothering my board, Jake. Your gate's dangerous, and Paul was protecting the neighborhood. I played. The video, Paul's grunts and swear words filled the air. His face lit up like a police photo. Cynthia's smugness broke. Deputy Ryan Holt came, watching the video twice. That's breaking and entering, he said, writing notes. Need proof, Cynthia told him to charge her. She jumped in saying Paul acted alone, her worry for his mental health award winning. That afternoon, Cynthia banned chickens, saying they were too noisy while her dogs ran around pooping on yards. Her live-streamed patrols were comedy gold, ranting about my gate while kids played nearby, proving her scary claims were jokes. I added a gate alarm, a happy chime for trespassers. Paul set it off, falling into roses caught on Tara's camera. Then at 11 p.m., my camera caught Paul again, this time with a crowbar going after a 1970s stone boundary marker, proving my land's edge. He grunted, moving at 8 feet toward my house. Big-time crime in Texas. Looking through my dad's old papers, I found a 1973 photo of the marker, GPS marked, matching my survey. At the next HOA meeting, I walked in, late, evidence in hand. Cynthia was mid-rant, her board showing my gate like a wanted poster. I've got something to share, I said, putting the photo on her easel. This marker has been here 52 years. Here's Paul moving it 3 nights ago. The video played Paul's struggle. Clear as day. People gasped. Cynthia screamed, fake evidence. Paul blurted, I was following her orders. He jumped for my folder, tripping into a chair. The room went crazy. People demanded answers. Ellen Hayes, an older neighbor, stood. Did you move my markers, Cynthia? Others told similar stories, showing years of cheating. Cynthia's live stream that night was a disaster. Her dog ruining it. Mid-victim speech. By morning, I had court orders against her, and Paul Deputy Holt served them, muttering, maybe now we'll get peace. Then I found the marker's concrete base went under Cynthia's driveway, built on my land. County records proved their whole lot was mine, stolen decades ago. At the final meeting, I showed the photo, Laura's survey, and a 1965 recording from my dad's equipment showing Paul's father talking about boundary cheating. The tape showed 60 years of stealing, proving Cynthia's scheme. She tried admitting guilt, saying it was mistakes, but Deputy Holt handcuffed her for cheating and theft. Paul admitted, everything sealing their fate. The HOA ended. Cheers echoing Cynthia's house became my duck pond, a symbol of winning. Tara started a new group with 3 rules. No stealing, no breaking things, no fake power. A buried marker saying, HOA is not done. Hinted at a bigger fight, but with Daisy, my gate, and truth, I'm ready. Don't let anyone steal your peace.